It is my pleasure this morning to welcome you to the grand opening ceremonies of the fourth and final phase of Gloria Robinson Homes. The site we stand on today was once known as A. Harry Moore Public Housing Site, AKA the Duncan Projects, which consisted of 7 12-story colossal, prototypical 1950s red brick boxes of social isolation, extreme crime and poverty, stalling the neighborhood from prosperity for over 25 years. But today we stand in the midst of a vibrant community that everyone or anyone would be proud to call home. The transformation of this community began more than 10 years ago. We are excited to report the completion of an apartment community that consists of 274 affordable and market rate units. This phase, the final phase, 71 to 4-bedroom units for working families and a 10 classroom Head Start early childhood education center.
This has really been a work in progress for a long time, and it really is a model of what's possible in revitalization of old housing sites. I think we could all acknowledge that the old format of housing sites were in many ways a failed format. Vertical, high-rise, low-income housing. And what you've seen replaced here through a lot of different visionaries that have been involved is a community that really is going to be something that anybody would want to live in. Not only is it a place that anybody would want to live in, but we are very, very proud that there is a social service component along with it. Resources involved, an early childhood center right next door. This is really going to be a community that is a model for what is possible in places like Jersey City.
The Jersey City Housing Authority has been the recipient of 3 Hope 6 awards, and we continue to lead the nation in transforming affordable public housing of yesteryear, like the mayor said, vertical concentrations of poverty, into mixed income, vibrant communities that we can all be proud of and that are indistinguishable from affordable housing. A cornerstone of the Fulop administration's affordable housing policy has been that our residents of affordable housing should not be isolated in centers of poverty, and that affordable housing should be indistinguishable from any other type of housing. You shouldn't be able to tell it apart. And I believe the product that we're delivering today exemplifies exactly that cornerstone of the Fulop administration's affordable housing philosophy.
What a great place for an opportunity. I know not only in terms of providing housing, but to provide an educational component here. How important is that for our children, to make sure that they have the best opportunity, to have an opportunity to be the best that they can. You know, for those of us who have worked in subsidized housing, we understand. I remember working at Marion and seeing the little kids, walking around and not really having lots to do. And all I kept thinking about is, if those kids make it, it's a miracle. You know what? The miracles will happen here. The miracles will happen in this educational facility.
The school that will open shortly, the paint is fresh, but it's done. We'll have 2 playgrounds, one for the older kids, the 3s to 5s, and one for the little babies, the 0s to 3s. So there'll be 7 classrooms in that building just for early Head Start, just for the small ones. And 4 classrooms for the upper division, I like to call it, for the 3 to 5-year-olds.
I personally believe that affordable housing should be integrated into a community like everywhere else. It should not be isolated, and this is a great example of how it should be done. Bringing in Head Start, what a great idea. Mixed use, mixed income, that's what our culture and society is all about. And I think this is a great example.
And our job at Penrose is really to hear these visions, to accept the visions, and not leave them behind. And unfortunately, that's easily done. And it's easily done maybe more readily in affordable housing where the resources are scarce and where some of the hard parts get left on the drawing room table. And so here today, where we were held to a very high design standard, a standard that we accepted from the Housing Authority from the very beginning, where HUD said this will be a Hope 6 project that has an early childhood education component to it. There were moments where, that thing was dangling by a thread. And plans B and C, had to become plan D, but there's a beautiful school sitting over there. And our ongoing obligation is to make sure that we've done it and to make sure we've held the line in a way that this thing will be what it is today, for decades to come. And we take that very, very seriously at Penrose, because that's not just the calling card of our company, it's the calling card of our industry. We have an obligation to make sure that those who are big decision makers about the funding resources that do these projects keep making those decisions, and in our minds, double down and put more resources into these kinds of projects.
Well, I think anyone coming to the Gloria Robinson homes sees a beautiful community. They don't think about whether or not this is affordable housing. What you see is a well-planned, welcoming, beautiful community that's an asset to the neighborhood. And that's the vision that we're embracing at the city level, and really pleased that this is such a great model of it. And the idea that you have a school here is even more powerful, right? A community needs different types of resources, and right here you have a community of beautiful homes surrounding a preschool center for kids 0 to 5 across the street from an iconic park in Jersey City. I don't think it gets better than this.